Talk about all of the Creed fragrances that my husband and I have and which ones are our favorites. My number one favorite for myself is Jardan Deoli. This is the most bright, realistic tangerine fragrance. I just imagine walking through a garden when I smell this. There's also a touch of rose. It's very light, crisp, fresh. It's obviously from their more elevated line, so I am savoring every drop of this. My next favorite and most worn is Creed's Carina. This is a really, really elegant take on a cherry fragrance. There's some white florals, there's saffron, and it's not too sweet. Even though it's ambery, it also has this airiness to it. I think it's the perfect transitional scent for fall. I think that the House of Creed makes some of my favorite fragrances to smell on a man, and so it's difficult for me to pick my favorite of the ones my husband wears, but this one might just be it. I just remember smelling this for the first time and thinking, okay, this is exactly what I want to smell on a man. It's a fresh aquatic scent. There's some salty notes, a little bit of sweetness. It's very clean, a little bit woody. I just think that this one is a 10 out of 10. I love it so much. A very, very close second for me is Royal Mayfair. This has a eucalyptus note, a gin note. I think it smells so classy. I love the way the eucalyptus note is done in this scent. As you can see, he's used a ton of this fragrance. This is one that I always want to steal from him. I love it. I don't have a bottle of Green Irish Tweed because this is what my dad has worn for forever. So of course it would be weird if my husband wore it. But this is one of the best smells ever. To me, this is just such a classic men's fragrance. It is a classic fougere. There's mossy notes. And I'm so nostalgic about this scent because it smells like my dad. Original Santal is another one of my favorites of my husband's. This feels to me like a very easy reach, kind of year-round scent that would be perfect for the office. It's woody, it's a little aromatic. There's a little bit of spice from some ginger. Aventus is actually one of the fragrances that he wears the most. He reaches for this all the time, and I think a little bit begrudgingly because it is so popular, but it's popular for a reason. This is just a classic. I love the pineapple note and the way that it's done in this fragrance. And then Absolute Ventus is a little bit deeper. To me, this is kind of a darker, woodier, slightly spiced take on Aventus. It's really beautiful in my opinion. I think that this is great if you wear Aventus but want something a little bit more for fall. Then Delphinus is a really gorgeous ambery vanilla with kind of a earthy iris. This is one of their newer releases. It is beautiful. I think it's very unisex. Spring Flower is very nostalgic for me because it was one of the first fragrances that I kind of fell in love with as a little girl. This is an aquatic, very springy floral. There's a melon note. Then Queen of Silk is this very intense kind of like patchouli, amber, floral. There's osmanthus in here as well. It's very intense, has great longevity and projection. I personally prefer Carmina for that ambery floral. And Centaurus